Lock yourselves in because there's some crazy updates on that $100 million fine smacking Rolex right in the face, and the plot thickens. Today's agenda is a quick rundown of what went down, a little Q&A session to clear up some confusion you might have in mind, and of course, the most exciting part, the fresh intel that's making Rolex sweat a bit more than we initially thought. But before we expose the recent Rolex saga, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you never miss the latest updates on the shocking twists and turns in the world of luxury watches. So here's the lowdown. The French trade big shots slapped Rolex with a staggering $100 million fine, and it's not for nothing. Apparently, it all boils down to this snippet from the Rolex ad agreement. We confirmed that under no circumstances can our authorized retailers, who are the only parties authorized to sell our products, do so via the internet or by mail order. Any sales via the internet contravene the provisions of Article 4.3b of the Selective Distribution Agreement signed by all our authorized retailers. Translation: Rolex got hit hard for not keeping a tight leash on their sellers. It's not just bad, it's ouch, that stings bad. It's all right, let's unravel the mystery in our Q&A sesh, peeling back the layers on why France is schooling Rolex with that hefty fine. So this whole mess stems from a provision in the Rolex ad agreement that got labeled as a party pooper for competition, and Rolex is footing the bill for being the party thrower for the past decade. First up, how can France boss around Rolex like that? Can't Rolex do whatever they want with their watches? Technically, Rolex isn't being told how to run their show. The legal beef here isn't about Rolex selling directly to you, the watch lover. Nope, it's a different ballgame. You see, Rolex and their crew of authorized dealers are the main characters. The ads drop some serious cash to Rolex for the watches, and once that transaction is sealed, legally, the ads become the true kings of those watches. Got it? Just think that the authorized dealers are the VIPs in this watch party. They're the ones calling the shots after they've coughed up the cash. Now someone asked, is France playing the pinko communist card, bullying poor Rolex into selling online? Nope, not at all. The French Trade Authority is actually flipping the script, championing the sacred ground of private property rights, a solid foundation for good old capitalism. In this showdown, they're basically safeguarding the rights of those Rolex ads. Check the diagram, because it's the ads who hold the keys to the Rolex kingdom. Next up, can Rolex call the shots on how they peddle their precious watches? The French Trade Authority isn't buying that ticket. They're putting their foot down, saying, "Nah, you can't play dictator, especially when it comes to terms that mess with fair competition and might sting the consumer." So is Rolex trying to strong-arm the ads into line? Good question. The reality is, online or not, the ads don't have a ton of inventory anyway. However, the ads are eyeing that online sales option, not just for kicks but for the future. It's less about what's practical now and more about claiming their legal ownership rights in the long run. Sneaky, huh? Now someone also asked, can't Rolex just slam the brakes on those ad agreements or pull a Houdini and vanish from France? Whoa, slow down. While that might sound like a grand exit strategy, it could be a one-way ticket to more troubled town. First off, Rolex probably isn't itching to wave goodbye to all those sales. They're basically the alphas of the watch game in France. But if they pull a disappearing act, it's like admitting their ad agreement is a bit shady, right? And that's not the energy they want. They gotta duke it out in the legal arena. And making a run for it would just ruffle feathers with the big shots up in the EU courts. So with this in mind, we have the question. Does Rolex even care about that hefty €92 million fine? That's like pocket change for them, right? Hold up, because they're not tossing around €92 million like confetti. Business 101. Nobody wants to part with that kind of cash. But it's not just about the money, because Rolex has a bigger fish to fry. They need to come up with a game plan to shake off the illegal ad clause tag. If they keep slamming the door on online sales, there might be more penalties lurking around the corner. And no savvy business wants that kind of drama. Plus, let's face it, in this digital age, snubbing online sales could be like shooting themselves in the foot. Rolex needs to find a sweet spot where they can stay exclusive but not miss out on the vast online market. Just think of it like threading a needle, and they better do it before their competitors steal the show. All right, let's break down another angle that's been buzzing around. Why doesn't Rolex just ditch those ad agreements and go solo, leaving the ads in the dust? Well, it's not exactly a walk in the park. Sure, they've got a head start with that Booker purchase, but building their own worldwide sales network is like tackling a colossal puzzle. We're talking mega millions and years of blood, sweat and tears, plus they're already juggling big bucks to ramp up production. Imagine Rolex trying to play chess while everyone else is playing checkers. It's a massive commitment, my friend. Now time for the fresh scoop that's giving Rolex a headache. With this ruling, there's some compliance action in the mix. First off, Rolex has to ring up all their ads in France, drop the news bomb about the decision, and suddenly those ads might just start dabbling in online sales. To add a dash of salt to the wound, Rolex has to plaster this decision on their official website for a solid week. However, they've got to splash it across the two biggest magazines in France, L'Officiel and Montre magazine. All right, let's now move on to some big news that didn't get its fair share of spotlight in a lot of folks. Apparently, this whole Rolex rollercoaster kicked off when a former Rolex ad, Pelgrin and Fils, claimed they got the boot from the ad squad in 2013 for pushing Rolex's buttons about online sales. I mean, they said it was payback for daring to suggest something outside the norm, a little retaliation to keep everyone else in line. Smells like intimidation, right? But it's not just one disgruntled ad throwing shade at Rolex. Nope, it's a tag team match featuring the X-ad and the biggest jewelry trade organization in France. That's like the whole jewelry industry saying, "Game on, Rolex." But here's the worst part for Rolex. Winning an appeal in France, that's not exactly a walk in the park. The competition authority is notorious for throwing curveballs that can shake the foundations of court victories. Venturing into the EU courts is like stepping into a legal minefield. One wrong move, and the ad agreement that Rolex holds dear becomes a distant memory across the whole European Union. Yikes, right? It's like playing with fire, and we've seen giants like Microsoft and Google get burned in their own competitive battles. Even for the watch royalty that is Rolex, the legal landscape proves that in this arena, the legal labyrinth has its own set of rules, and even the kings must tread carefully. Well, we've unraveled quite the web of Rolex drama today. What do you think is the most iconic legal battle in the history of luxury brands, and how do you believe it has shaped the industry? If you've got any more burning questions, or if there's another twist in the tale, you know where to leave them, down in the comments below. If you found this update as gripping as we did, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more jaw-dropping insights into the world of luxury watches and the legal battles that come with them. Until next time, watch enthusiasts, keep those questions coming, and let's keep this conversation ticking. Cheers to timepieces and legal showdowns.